Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mustang Arena. For Varsity Volleyball competition, please welcome our guests from Lake Buena Vista High School. Making their very first appearance here at Mustang Arena, they are the Vipers. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Let's meet the teams. We'll begin with our guests from Lake Buena Vista, and we'll start with their reserves. Number 16, Anam Chaudhry. And number 24, Annabelle Ruda. And now the starting lineup for the Vipers. Serving first, the team libero. The starting libero is junior number 1, Isabella Covert. And starting on the court in service order, serving first, is sophomore outside hitter and team captain, number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. Serving second is sophomore middle hitter, number 12, Cami Parr. Third in the rotation for the Vipers, freshman setter, number 0, Leticia Dos Santos. Serving fourth is sophomore outside hitter, number 9, Sydney Highfield. Fifth in the rotation for the Vipers is freshman middle hitter, number 11, Kayla Williams. And finally, for the Vipers, serving sixth is freshman opposite side hitter, number 13, Paisley Hall. The head coach of the Vipers, Don Martin, and assistant coach, Lauren Smith. And now, let's meet the lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Beginning with their reserves, number 8, Eliza Calvo Garcia. And number 14, Cassidy Palmer. The starting lineup for the Mustangs begins with team libero and captain, 5'4" senior, number 4, Jenna Japak. And starting on the court, serving first is 5'6" senior setter, number 1, Emily Harris. Serving second for the Mustangs, 5'4" junior outside hitter, number 5, Dania Jackson. Third in the rotation for the Mustangs, 5'8" senior middle hitter, number 7, Ariana Hall. Fourth in the rotation for the Mustangs, 5'7" senior outside hitter, number 14, Cassidy Palmer. Serving fifth for the Mustangs, 5'6" senior right side hitter, number 2, Madeline Holmes. And finally for the Mustangs, serving sixth, 5'5" senior right side and middle hitter, number 0, Chastity Rosario. The head coach of the Mustangs is Heather Lorenz and assistant coach Talon Allard. The officials for tonight's game are from the Florida Professional Officials here in Orlando. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please stand as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight
O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
For those of you here in the arena, we want to remind you that we are live streaming tonight's game on YouTube, as well as the NFHS network. If you have friends and family who are not able to join us in person, whether they are on the other side of Orlando, elsewhere in Apopka, or anywhere in the world, just have them open up the YouTube app on their favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device, and search for the channel Wekiva Sports. Again, Wekiva Sports on YouTube or the NFHS network. Anyone who's a subscriber of the NFHS network, we also simulcast our broadcast there. And for those of you who are already doing so, joining us on YouTube or the NFHS network, we want to welcome you to Mustang Arena, joined tonight by Keith Dickerson of Wekiva TV Broadcast Production. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School, ready to take you through tonight's varsity contest, the first ever between the Mustangs and the Vipers here at Mustang Arena. The Vipers, of course, in their inaugural season, they will have no seniors on their roster because, of course, they are a brand new program. Of course, Wekiva celebrating their 15th anniversary season this year. The Vipers have the opening service of set number 1, leading their rotation, number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. And we are underway, swing and a miss from Madeline Holmes, and Lincoln opens the set for the Vipers with an ace. Side out to the Mustangs. Leading the rotation for Wekiva, number 1, Emily Harris. Attack handled by Madeline Holmes there. Here comes Denia Jackson. Is it in? Yes, it is. Denia Jackson picks up her first kill of the night for the Mustangs. Wekiva takes their first lead of the first set, 2 serving 1. This is the second to last home game for the Mustangs. They play Forest Lake on Thursday, and that will be senior night. So we have not 2, but 3 live streams set up for Thursday, as Jackson has the attack error there. Service returns to the Vipers. Next in the rotation for Lake Buena Vista to serve as libero is number 1, Isabella Covert. So again, 3 live streams coming up on Thursday. We'll have the JV match first, then senior night, and then the varsity match. Service away. Emily Harris barely manages to get there in time. The Mustangs will settle for a free ball coming back over. Attack from the backcourt, and that's going to close the deal. Viper kill by Kaylin Lincoln. So the Vipers out to a 4-2 start over the Mustangs in their first appearance here at Mustang Arena. Service away to Denia Jackson. Emily Harris trying to do something clever there, dumping it over on the second touch. Vipers are ready for that, though. Madeline Holmes with a tough dig, but nice placement there, able to get it to Harris. Tack going to Madeline Holmes, whose timing is a little off, but manages to keep it under control. Denia Jackson settles for a free ball going the other way. Viper kill by number 13, Paisley Hall. 5 serving 2 now. Nice start for Lake Buena Vista. Isabella Covert with an ace. First ace of the evening. Abiana Hall puts a little too much mustard on that one. It goes past the end line for an attack error. And a miscommunication there between Harris and Palmer. Of course, Emily Harris is the designated setter, but, you know, the setter can't be everywhere on the court. So if it goes to a corner of the court that the setter can't reach, other players have to be prepared to step in and make that second touch. And the ball goes into no man's land, resulting in another point and leading 9-2. The Mustangs request their first timeout of set number 1. We'll be back from Mustang Arena right after the break. We invite you to join us on Thursday night. It is the last home game of the year for Wekiva. It's against Forest Lake, and so we will be celebrating senior night. We have 8, count them, 8 seniors on the Mustangs team we'll be recognizing between the JV and varsity contests. Again, that's Thursday evening. Free ball coming over to the Vipers. Attack handled by Emily Harris. Needs a little help from J-Pack because Harris can't both pass and set. Abiana Hall with, I don't know if she meant to do that or not, but a kind of low angle, and Abiana Hall picks up the Mustangs' kill. Service to Wekiva. Next in the rotation for the Mustangs, number 5, Denia Jackson. Little too much heat on the attack from Kaylin Lincoln. Wekiva gets a free point there. Service back to the Vipers. Next in the rotation for Lake Buena Vista, number 0, Leticia Dos Santos. Madeline Holmes has a good look. Did it stay in? Yes, it did. Madeline Holmes on the Mustangs kill. Service back to Wekiva. Serving as libero next for the Mustangs, number 4, Jenna Japak. And Jenna Japak got tangled up there with Chastity Rosario and couldn't get an angle on the pass, or on the set rather. Cassidy Palmer is going to have to settle for a free ball. Coming back, that might have been wide left, but Emily Harris not going to take any chances. And Rosario hits the ball out of bounds. Harris on the set. Here comes Madeline Holmes. It's hot. In fact, it's too hot. The attack error over the end line gives the Vipers a 13-5 lead. Again, Wekiva with 8 seniors on their roster. That's 8 out of 9 players on the varsity team. Cassidy Palmer with a good look. Doesn't matter. Vipers are called into the net. Next to serve for the Mustangs, Cassidy Palmer. So that's one of those where the net violation actually maybe didn't help you statistically, because Cassidy Palmer would have liked to kill there. And an attack error from Lake Buena Vista gives Wekiva a little bit of a break. Again, both of these teams have 9 players on them. Wekiva has 8 seniors and 1 junior. Denaya Jackson, the only person on this team who isn't a senior. Lake Buena Vista has 0 seniors because their entire school has 0 seniors, at least for this year. And that is standard for any new school that opens. Horizon would be the same way. Kaylin Lincoln comes in a little too hot there with the attack error, and that awards a free point to Wekiva. So what you saw in the JV contest, if you joined us for that about an hour and a half ago, that is a preview of what you're going to see next year on varsity, because again, 8 out of 9 of these players are going to graduate, and Wekiva is going to have to rebuild off the JV team next year. Madeline Holmes on the Mustangs kill. Service away from Palmer, and they're going to say it is out. Line judge thought it was in, but the tower official also had a good angle on that. Service to the Vipers. Next in the rotation for Lake Buena Vista, number 11, Kayla Williams. That was in, and Cassidy Palmer decided to swing at it a little bit too late, thinking it was maybe going to go out. So that'll be an ace. Oh, all right. So they're going to reverse that decision.
Some musical chairs there.
Service to the Mustangs. Checking into the game to serve, number 10, Juliet Rodriguez. All right. So a little bit of confusion there, but ultimately the call was made that it was out. Chastity Rosario tries for the solo kill. Vipers managed to get under it. Battle at the net. Rosario again goes for the solo kill. Libero steps up and grabs it. That's covert. Attack there by Lincoln, goes to the other side, and 2 touches are going to be called against the Mustangs. Service back to the Vipers. Next in the rotation for LBV, number 13, Paisley Hall. Lake Buena Vista and Horizon are in a tie for the 21st and 22nd schools, high schools anyway, to be added to Orange County Public Schools.
I believe we'll have 2 or 3 more coming.
Returning to the game for the Mustangs, number 2, Maddie Holmes. Cassidy Palmer gets a nice serve receive. It passed to Holmes to Jackson, and Jackson, again, a little too much mustard on that attack. You have to pay for long distance if you're going to shoot it over there. Tough serve receive for the Mustangs, but nice reflexes from Harris and Jackson, who were able to recover for Wekiva. But Viper kill by number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. So as excellent as Harris and Jackson were recovering that play, it did force Wekiva into a free ball opportunity, and Lincoln was ready to cash in. Here comes the service from Williams. It goes to the back row. A tough serve receive there for Palmer. But Maddie Holmes manages to get it under control and gets a free ball kill. Service back to the Mustangs. Chastity Rosario is next in the rotation for Wekiva. So a miscommunication there, and Lake Buena Vista opens up an opportunity for Wekiva to eat into their lead a little bit. Wekiva now trails by 7. Cami Parr wins the battle at the net. Service back to the Vipers. Next in their rotation, number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. So we are now back at the top of the rotation once again. This one, Cassidy Palmer knows better than to go after that one. Service back to Wekiva. They also return to the top of their rotation with number 1, Emily Harris. Harris's serve is away, finds the back corner. Emily Harris with the ace. Mustangs now close to 6. Kaylin Lincoln with the Viper kill. Her 3rd tonight. Now serving as libero for the Vipers, Isabella Colbert. And that serve is wide left. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, number 5, Zanaya Jackson. And timing a little off there from Kayla Williams. Free point to the Mustangs. Wekiva has 15 points so far on 1 ace and 4 kills. So 5 of those 15 points are earned. 10 of them are unearned. Now make 11 as we get an attack error there from Highfield. For the 20 points on the other side, they have 3 aces and 7 kills, so that's about 50-50. 10 earned points, 10 unearned points. And that was Leticia Dos Santos there trying to be clever and going for the style points, punching the ball over, but if you're going to do that, it has to be super precise. And the Vipers request their first timeout of set number 1. We'll be back from Mustang Arena with the conclusion of the first set in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, with Keith Dickerson from Wekiva TV Broadcast Production, joining you for tonight's penultimate home contest in the 15th anniversary season here at Wekiva. Denia Jackson is your server. That one's going to go right to the 10-foot line, and diving serve receive there by Covert keeps the ball in play. Mustangs settle for a free ball.
Little fumble there.
Yeah. Yeah, Paisley Hall, the timing was a little off. Jackson serves, again, goes just past the 10-foot line. Number 11, Kayla Williams on the Viper kill. Service to Lake Buena Vista. Next to serve for them, Leticia Dos Santos. So the Vipers need to score 4 in order to take the second set. Mustangs need 7 to catch up. Emily Harris putting in some extra mileage to get there for the set. Tip attempt, and it goes right into Maddie Holmes's grill, and she's just not able to maintain that. Service away. Harris to Holmes. And nice dig there by Covert. Jenna Japak gets under a great attack from the Vipers. Maddie Holmes put up another good one that has to get covered by Covert. Japak with the pass. Harris tries for the dump. That's not there, but it is for Lake Buena Vista. Tip kill by Kayla Williams. Here comes service from Dos Santos. Holmes gets a bad angle on it. Set point, Vipers. Vipers will end the first set on an ace from Leticia Dos Santos. 25-18 is the final score of set number 1, and the Vipers take a 1-0 lead for the match. We'll be back from Mustang Arena with set number 2 right after the break. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Varchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School, joined by Keith Dickerson of Wekiva TV Broadcast Production, taking you through this penultimate contest of the 15th anniversary season. 25-18 was the final score of set number 1. Mustangs have the opening service of the second set. Emily Harris leads the rotation for Wekiva. And Kaylin Lincoln was late to the party, and so she'll attack into the net for an error. Mustangs get a free point there. Service to the Vipers, leading their rotation once again, Kaylin Lincoln. Harris with a nice set, but Abiana Hall is just not positioned correctly to take advantage of it. Wekiva settles for a free ball coming back the other way. This one going to Hall. Timing a little off, couldn't get up there and get enough angle on it. Free point goes to the Vipers. Again, as I mentioned a moment ago, this is the penultimate home game of the 15th anniversary season. Final one coming up Thursday night. That will be senior night. Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation, number 5, Denia Jackson. And 8 out of 9 players are seniors. Denia Jackson, who you just saw serve there, is the only person who is not a senior. Viper kill by Paisley Hall.
Definitely an opportunity. Presumably, she's going to be the team leader next year.
Yeah, so she'll be the only returning varsity player, assuming she returns next year. And we do have some pretty good talent on the JV team, which we saw just a few moments ago. Linnea Preston, probably the leader of the JV team. Expect her to be a presence on varsity next year. Maddie Holmes with the Mustangs kill. That's her third tonight. Service back to the Mustangs. Serving as libero for Wekiva, number 4, Jenna Japak. Good looking serve. Did it stay in? Yes, it did. Jenna Japak on the service ace. So the Mustangs take their first lead of the second set. Again, 25-18, the Vipers took the first set, so Wekiva looking to get on the board for the match here. Another excellent-looking serve from Japak. Vipers barely managed to get it under control, settle for the free ball coming back. Madeline Holmes didn't quite get as much of that ball as she wanted to. Most of the power of that swing didn't actually transfer into kinetic energy on the ball. And so it goes into the net. Service back to the Vipers. Next in their lineup, Leticia Dos Santos. Ties the set at 4. Dos Santos goes to the back row with Denia Jackson. Palmer with the attack. Gets a little drag from the net there, and the Vipers are still able to get under it. Maddie Holmes with a nice looking shot there. Dos Santos handles that one. This one goes toward Rosario, who goes to the back. A little too much heat on that. I think that one was more a problem of angle than it was of power. That needed a little bit less height and a little bit less heat. Jackson handles the serve receive. This one's coming to Palmer with a soft touch, goes right to the attack line. Not a great pass, but it'll do for the Vipers. Maddie Holmes slaps it to the 10-foot line. Holmes gets under that one. Harris decides to go for a solo attack there. Vipers ready for that. And spiking it into the net is Kaylin Lincoln. Service back to the Mustangs. Cassidy Palmer to serve next. Kaylin Lincoln, from what we've seen so far in the first set and the first 10 points of the second set, has one of the stronger arms on the Vipers team. When she is accurate, she is deadly. That last one was not, though, and neither was the serve from Cassidy Palmer. Service back to the Vipers. Next in the rotation, Sydney Highfield. Dos Santos punches it over, and Emily Harris picks up the side out for the Mustangs. Service back to Wekiva, checking into the game to serve for the Mustangs. Number 10, Juliet Rodriguez. Emily Harris making a great play on the ball there. That's a tough play to make without touching the net. And she managed to pull it off, pick up the side out. Here comes Rodriguez, coming in specifically to serve for the Mustangs. She has alternated between being a starter and a reserve over the course of the season. Too much heat on the attack from Lincoln. Again, she's got probably the most powerful arm out of anybody on the Viper program. It's just a matter of getting the accuracy down. And Juliet Rodriguez with the ace. Her first ace of the night. Tanaya Jackson on the attack. Vipers get under that one. Here comes a counter from Dos Santos. Palmer is ready for that. Rosario lobs it into the middle, and that's going to be enough. Chastity Rosario on the Mustangs kill. The Vipers request their first timeout of set number 2. We'll be back from Mustang Arena here in the second set in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, voice of the Mustangs, here with Keith Dickerson from Wekiva TV Broadcast Production. And Juliet Rodriguez looks to continue her success behind the service line. This one goes to the middle.
A little power on that.
Yeah, that's another good arm from Kayla Williams. She's right up there with Kaylin Lincoln in terms of strength. Just a matter of control. It barely clears the net for the Mustangs, and the Vipers weren't ready for that. Isabella Covert put it into no man's land, and Vipers couldn't get there.
Bad counter there.
Yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know. It's hard to call that an ace in the truest sense, but the serve receive, again, just put that ball into no man's land. That's the last thing you want to do, whether you're passing off of an attack or whether you're receiving off of a serve. The last thing you want to do is dump the ball into the net, because that's where your setter is going to have the hardest time getting control of it and putting it in a place where you can reasonably attack it. Cassidy Palmer, a little off the mark there. Too much power behind that one. Maddie Holmes is back into the game for the Mustangs. Service back to the Vipers. Next in their rotation, Kayla Williams. So again, Kayla Williams, we've seen that she has a pretty strong arm. So far for the Vipers, that one is nice and accurate, goes straight to Cassidy Palmer. And Jackson settles for the free ball there. That wasn't a bad placement, though. Rosario manages to get the block and then immediately has to convert and turn around and pass it. Jackson with a short but powerful punch there, and Covert barely got under that. Rosario again. This time gets it. Cassidy Rosario on the Mustangs kill. That's her second tonight. Service back to Wekiva. Rosario also has the next service. Kaylin Lincoln with another one of those punches into the net. That one just didn't have enough altitude on it. You got to get up there faster with higher set placement if you're going to get that to go. Chastity Rosario on the serve. Comes to right to the attack line. And again, Mustangs kind of leaving Emily Harris out to dry there. She was about as far as she could possibly get. And they still made her run over and get it. Kill by Kaylin Lincoln. That's her fifth kill tonight, and as I mentioned earlier, when she has the precision and accuracy, it's really hard to stop her. That one went off a deflection. Vipers pick up the ace from number 13, Paisley Hall. Her first ace tonight. And a little bit of confusion here.
Yeah, I think the referee threw her off on her serve. Coach was not happy about that. Because it was a player?
Yeah, so it's a rotation issue that, of course, you have the 6 players on the court rotate in a particular order, but they specialize in particular positions as we get another ace from Paisley Hall. So if you specialize as an outside hitter, as Nia Jackson does, she wants to be on the left, but she can't be on the left until after the ball is in play because you have to start wherever you are in the rotation, and right now her position is in the middle.
Thought that one was going to the moon there for a second.
Service back to the Mustangs. Emily Harris serving for Wekiva. So yeah, that's legal. You can play the ball off of the scaffolding, off of the basketball hoops, off of whatever you want, as long as it doesn't cross over to the other half of the court in the process. You can't send the ball from one side to the other that way. Kill by number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. Lincoln also has the next service here. Hall looking for a soft touch. But the Vipers are there and ready. It was in my blind spot, but I think that might have been Cami Parr that sent that right back over. It was a good idea from Hall. The Vipers were just ready for it. Serve goes out of bounds, so Vipers do some damage to the Mustang lead on that exchange. Service back to Wekiva and Nia Jackson.
Almost camera, too, but it's all right.
Yeah, volleyball, way more than basketball, is hazardous to the score table staff and camera operators and anybody else because these balls can go anywhere at high speed. Maddie Holmes timing off there. Service back to the Vipers. Serving as libero, number 1, Isabella Covert. Maddie Holmes got it in. Holmes picks up her 4th kill of the night. Service back to Wekiva. Serving as libero for the Mustangs, number 4, Jenna Japak. Holmes with a good look there. This time the libero Covert is able to get under it. And the Vipers wanted a call for a touch. It definitely landed out of bounds. The question is, did anybody from Wekiva's side touch it first? And they're saying no. Kaylin Lincoln on the Viper kill. That's her 7th kill of the evening. Side outs to LBV. Next in the rotation for the Vipers, number 0, Leticia Dos Santos. Maddie Holmes sends that directly into the noggin of our tower official.
Is that legal?
Dos Santos with the ace. Well, no, in the sense that you lose the point for that. You may also earn the ire of the official that way. Palmer's attack is too hot, and the Vipers close to within 2. So, again, remember, the Vipers won the first set 25-18. Varsity plays best of 5, so nobody's going to win the match in this set. But if Wekiva were to go down 0-2, that would not look good for their prospects to come back. And Maddie Holmes is called in the net, so the Vipers close to within 1. Cassidy Palmer couldn't get up there in time. The Mustangs request their first timeout of set number 2. We're all tied up at 18. We'll be back from Mustang Arena in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, here with Keith Dickerson from Wekiva TV Broadcast Production, where the Mustangs were out to a good start for the second set, but the Vipers have gotten their rhythm together here and have closed out the Mustang lead. But now Wekiva goes back into the lead. Side out to Wekiva. Next in the rotation, Cassidy Palmer. So it looks like this set may be a photo finish. Of course, Wekiva would very much like to end this season on a high note for the 8 seniors that we're going to recognize on Thursday night as the Vipers are called into the net, so Wekiva gets a free point. If you just look at the top line of the record, it doesn't necessarily look like Wekiva is doing any better this year than they were last year. But if you dig into the set scores and you dig into the match scores, you realize that Wekiva actually has managed to make a lot of progress since last year. Obviously, last year was a rough season for everybody, only 4 weeks long. Chastity Rosario picks up the Mustangs kill. Wekiva was lucky to get in 15 games last year. It helped they played in a couple of tournaments. But a lot of adversity, of course, from all of the teams last year with a shortened season, difficult practice conditions. I mean, you name it. Our athletic programs were suffering the same adversity that all other programs were. Side out to the Vipers, 19 serving 21 for number 9, Sydney Highfield. Now that Wekiva has had a chance to really gel under Coach Lorenz and play together as a unit, again, most of these varsity players are returners from last year's varsity squad. They really have gotten better at the communication and the rhythm and some of these plays. It's just, frankly, they probably needed more than one season to make that turnaround in order to be really competitive at the district level, as Matty Holmes slaps it too hard over the end line. That closes the game back within 1. So Wekiva is 3-14 this season compared to last year when they finished the year 2-15. But again, if you look through those individual match scores and the set scores, it does reveal a story of a team that is starting to figure itself out and figure out its identity. Unfortunately, the end of this season may come a little too soon for that.
I think it went off Cassidy's foot there.
No, they're going to say that that was out, or that was in, rather. And Palmer thought it was going to go out. It looked like it was going to go out, and then, I don't know, at the last second, a gust of wind must have taken it on the last 2 inches of the floor. So we're tied at 21. There's a good-looking attack from Matty Holmes with the Mustangs kill. That's her 5th kill of the night. Juliet Rodriguez checks into the game to serve for the Mustangs. Good looking serve there from Rodriguez, and it converts. Juliet Rodriguez with a Mustang ace. And again, this is one of those scenarios where you really want one of your strongest servers to be in the rotation, to be your closer. The Vipers request their second timeout of set number 2. We'll be back with the conclusion of the second set right after this. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, voice of the Mustangs. Keith Dickerson from Wekiva TV Broadcast Production, joining you for tonight's game. Wekiva 2 points away from closing out the second set here. And too hot from Kayla Williams. Set point, Mustangs. Just like in baseball, you can control where you're going to be in the lineup at the start of the game. You don't get to control where you're going to be in the lineup at the end of the game, but you want your strongest guy there. And in this case, Juliet Rodriguez, one of the strongest servers for the Mustangs, in the right place at the right time. And Covert can't get there. That takes us to the end of set number 2. The Mustangs hold off the comeback attempt from the Vipers for a 25-21 victory in the second set, and that ties the match 1-1. We'll be back from Mustang Arena with the third set right after the break. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Varsity, the voice of the Mustangs, here with Keith Dickerson from Wekiva TV Broadcast Production, where we are all tied up 1-1, so we know that we are going to play at least 4 sets tonight. And we've got the lineups turned in here. The Vipers have the opening service of set number 3. Leading their rotation once again is number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. And Lincoln opens with an ace.
And quick shout out to the players. I'm sure they want to hear this as a reminder, but there's testing tomorrow. So thanks for playing tonight. Get ready for tomorrow's PSAT and SATs. Did you ever sleep the night before those?
You know, I did. And that's going to be an attack error on Denia Jackson as it hit the aerial. Another ace for Lincoln. So she, if the stats continue the way they are, she is on her way to being the team MVP for this game with 3 aces and 7 kills. Another real hot one coming in. Maddie Holmes just barely gets under that one. Free ball settled for by Abiana Hall. And Vipers will settle for free ball coming back the other way. Emily Harris trying something clever there, and it works! Emily Harris with the Mustang tip kill. She will also have the first service for the Mustangs of set number 3.
Lincoln got tripped up there trying to save it.
Emily Harris with a Mustang ace. Well, she's got all the stats so far for set number 3. And now the Vipers looking a little off their game, and the Mustangs managed to tie it up 3-all. I'll give you this opportunity, Mr. Dickerson, if you want to give a shout-out to your videography crew for tonight.
Yeah, I've got Hamina and Jamarik here tonight, 2 of my seniors, so thank you guys for coming out.
Tack error again from the Vipers. Mustangs take their first lead of the 3rd set. Of course, we very much value the partnership we have between Wekiva Athletics and Wekiva TV Broadcast Production that has really matured over the last, I'd say, 4 years. I mean, we started dabbling in live streaming 4 or 5 years ago, and then really got into it in earnest maybe 3 years ago after the Spectrum contract expired with Orange County Public Schools, and we were actually able to do that unrestricted. And then all of a sudden it became a big deal last year when we weren't able to have a lot of fans in the stands here, as we get substitution of number 16, Anam Chandri.
Yeah, kind of a really intimate opportunity for a lot of families because of all the lockdowns and everything, not being able to come out all the time.
Right, so with our live in-person attendance restricted, and even for those who could come, you know, obviously everybody is in their own situation. Emily Harris with another great move there to pick up another point for the Mustangs. And so last year, a lot of schools were really scrambling to figure out how to do live streaming as we get a service error and side out back to the Vipers. Next in the rotation to serve as libero, number 1, Isabella Covert. So while most other schools were trying to figure out live streaming for the first time last year, we were like, oh yeah, we know how to do this. As Covert picks up the ace. Obviously, we had to adapt our practices a little bit and, you know, make sure we were maintaining distancing and safety and all of that. But it was really just doubling down on what we had already been doing for the last couple of seasons before that. And now that the public health situation is certainly better now than it was this time last year, we still recognize that the live streams provide some value. Whether it's because of the pandemic that you're not able to come out or just because you weren't able to be here for any other reason, if we can expand access to these talented young athletes for their friends, family, and community to watch them, then we want to do that as often as we can.
Yeah, I know we've had students tell us, like, oh, this was kind of a recruiting tool. I didn't have to go on Huddle and edit a highlight. I just sent the game last night and said, hey, go to the 10-minute mark. I got a touchdown there.
Yeah, it makes it real easy to capture highlight footage. I don't have to go to the team's videographer for that anymore. Service to the Mustangs with Denia Jackson serving next.
That punt return last week or the week before.
The kickoff return for touchdown,
oh, man.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, I clipped that one out of the broadcast. That was Frosty took it 60 yards, and then Sincere Edwards took it the last 30. That was one where, like, from up in the press box, I didn't even see what happened. I didn't see where the exchange occurred. I'm like, wait a minute, I thought he went down, and yet somebody's still running. Wait, that's not the same guy. And that's one where it was really valuable to have that replay and be able to go back and post that as a highlight package. Viper ace for Leticia Dos Santos, her 3rd.
I had a junior Alex Goby directing, and I hadn't realized he had switched cameras. I was watching it like a fan, so it was a great moment.
Yeah, that was one of those where the direction was actually really perfect there, because I got a much better angle looking at that through the broadcast than I did from watching it live. Maddie Holmes on the Mustangs kill. That's her 6th tonight. Service back to Wekiva. Jenna Japak is in position to serve as libero for the Mustangs.
And shout out to Neil always, because when we have a tech issue, Neil can take the microphone while we're plugging cables and everything up.
So J-Pack comes up with the ace there to take it back to a tie game. And, well, Mr. Dickerson, we may be in for kind of a long night here if it's going to go like this. If it's going to go back and forth, and we're going to have 25-18 in the first contest. It was even closer than that in the second contest. And if we're going to go to at least 4 sets here,
yeah, I learned from the Olympics. Guess it goes to 5, and the 5th set will be best of 15 points?
Correct. Williams on the kill, checking into the game. Sydney Highfield comes back to serve. Chastity Rosario has to scramble just to get the free ball. Viper kill by Kaylin Lincoln. And again, I mean, she's got a heck of an arm on her. Struggled a little bit in the first part of the second set with the accuracy, but she's been better in these last several services, last several attacks that she's made. And like I said, when she is on, she is unstoppable. That one, though, goes into the net. Service back to the Mustangs. Cassidy Palmer next up for Wekiva. A little bit of a trick play there from Dos Santos. Wekiva is able to handle it well. Good attack from Maddie Holmes. Vipers barely keep that one under control. And then Cassidy Palmer on the free ball kill. Vipers are kind of caught napping there. A free ball should never turn into a kill. Service back to Lake Buena Vista. Next in the service rotation for the Vipers, number 11, Kayla Williams. Williams has another on the team besides Lincoln who has a particularly powerful arm. She sends this one effortlessly to J-Pack in the back row. Emily Harris needs 2 shots at it, but manages to get it off to Rosario. Rosario on the kill, service back to Wekiva. Next in the rotation for the Mustangs, coming in to serve for Maddie Holmes, is number 10, Juliet Rodriguez. So again, that is legal. Normally you cannot have the same player touch the ball twice in a row, but it is legal if the first touch was a block attempt. You're allowed to do a block attempt and then a pass from the same person. Rodriguez on the pass. And it's Denia Jackson with the Mustang kill. Her second tonight. And the Mustangs now enjoy a 2-point advantage over the Vipers. But if we learned anything from the second set is that Wekiva cannot rest on their laurels here.
That looked out, and yes it was.
Yeah, the Vipers have had a bunch of those that were almost in.
As someone who's had to start wearing glasses the last few years, I would not want to be the judge on that. So.
Free ball. Wekiva has an opportunity here. Comes Rosario, and that's nearly blocked by Parr at the net. And Harris just can't change the trajectory of that pass from Palmer. Maddie Holmes back into the game for the Mustangs. Service returns to the Vipers with number 13, Paisley Hall. shallow attack there from Lincoln. Tip attempt there. Harris barely gets under it. J-Pack just gets under that one in the nick of time. And a soft touch.
No one ready for that.
Kaylin Lincoln on the tip kill. And you know, I've talked all night about how Lincoln has one of the strongest arms on the team. In that case, discretion being the better part of valor, she saw that there was an uncovered spot in the middle of the floor and tipped it right there. Wekiva did not have a sporting chance at that. And the attack error here from Rosario will take us to a tied set. So as you mentioned earlier, Mr. Dickerson, this is the third set. Actually, the first 4 sets would be played to 25. The 5th set, if necessary, is played to 15 as a tiebreaker. All of them using rally scoring. I don't remember exactly when rally scoring was brought into the mainstream, but I remember that when I was in high school, we used side-out scoring, which dates me a little bit. Service back to the Mustangs. Chastity Rosario to serve next. In side-out scoring, you could only earn a point if you served. If you didn't have the serve, then the only thing you earned was the side-out. You didn't actually get the point. Now, as a result of that, as Rosario picks up the ace, the result of that was that we only played to 15 instead of playing to 25, since it was harder to actually earn a point. The problem was that every now and again, you would get, 2 JV teams in there, and neither one of them could serve it over the net. And you just go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and 45 minutes later, it's still, 4-2.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's going to turn into a cricket match at that point.
Yeah, I mean, on average, the games are just about equally long, as we get a service ace from number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. Her 4th of the night. But on average, it's about the same length of the game, whether you do rally scoring to 25 or side-out scoring to 15. The difference, though, is, again, when you have developing teams, the side-out scoring can get very tedious very fast, as Emily Harris is just a bit outside. The other major innovation in the game of volleyball since I was in high school is the addition of the libero. That's something that was put in at the college level, and then high school realized, yeah, it's a pretty good idea. We should do that too. Gives you a lot more flexibility on defense. And nobody's home on the Wekiva side, as everybody stares at the middle of the court and watches the ball hit the floor. I've heard Coach Lorenz a couple of times. I've overheard her from the bench screaming at her team to please talk. Again, that's something that they are better at this season than they were last season, but still have some room to improve. Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation for Wekiva, number 1, Emily Harris. Nice serve, well placed and difficult to handle. And again, the Mustangs with a miscommunication.
Emily trying to cover the whole court there again.
Yeah, well, she is the designated setter, but you can't rely on just one person to be your setter. Service returns to the Vipers. Next in the rotation is libero Isabella Covert. See, Emily Harris is Wekiva's designated primary setter. She's the one who has the S on the roster next to her name. And if all else is equal, she is the one that's going to take the second touch every time. Service back to Wekiva and Denia Jackson. But you have to recognize that it's a big court, and one person can't cover the whole court. So if it goes to the opposite corner from where she is, there has to be a plan B. And you usually only get about half a second to make that decision. Maddie Holmes is way out the back door. Didn't dial 1 to get long distance there, and the Mustangs request their first timeout of set number 3. Back from Mustang Arena after the break.
Hey, this is
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Coming back from the timeout, this has been a back and forth one. Wekiva has led for much of the third set, but right now the Vipers are on top by 2, so that means that Wekiva now needs to score 6 before Lake Buena Vista scores 4. Leticia dos Santos continues in service. And here it comes. Tough serve receive from Maddie Holmes, and Denia Jackson is not able to get there in time. That is an ace for Leticia dos Santos, her 4th. Service away. That one goes to J-Pack in the back row. Hall, too much mustard on that. So this game not out of reach, but Wekiva has 2 points to get it together.
I guess a dumb question here, as I'm learning the sport. Are you not allowed to deliberately hit the ball towards a player or at a player?
No, there's no specific rule against that.
Okay. I assume the boys would probably be a little more aggressive with my mindset than the girls here.
No, it's not illegal, although it's usually a poor strategy. Set point, Vipers. Yeah, Hall had a good look at that one on the block attempt. It was almost a good block, but just went a little bit left. Yeah, it's one of the things that's not illegal. It's just a poor strategy because ideally you want to hit the ball away from the players.
Oh, no.
That takes us to the end of set number 3. 6-point victory in the third set for the Vipers. 25-19 is the final score of the third set, and Lake Buena Vista takes a 2-1 lead for the match over the Mustangs. We'll be back from Mustang Arena with set number 4. Vipers with an opportunity to take it. Mustangs trying to stay alive and force a tiebreaker. Back in a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mustangs have the opening possession of set number 4. Leading the rotation is number 1, Emily Harris. Denia Jackson gets the first kill of the 4th set. It's her 3rd overall tonight. So now the Mustangs are in a must-win situation as the Vipers lead the match 2-1. And Emily Harris gets called there for a lift. Service back to the Vipers, leading their rotation in this set. Number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. Lincoln, probably your team MVP so far. 4 aces, 9 kills for the Vipers. Aviana Hall picks up the Mustangs' kill. And the Vipers get a little tangled up at the net there.
Had the Mustangs guarding there. I think it kind of psyched them out there.
Mustang ace. First of the night for Denia Jackson. Service away for Jackson. That one comes up a little shorter. Tip attack. Jackson under it. Mustangs settle for a free ball, but they live to fight another day. Actually, that was kind of difficult placement. Not bad for a free ball. Aviana Hall picks up her 2nd kill of this set, 3rd overall. And that was just a good mental heads-up play from Aviana Hall. She saw that there was an uncovered spot on the court that nobody could get to, and she hit it with surgical precision. Denia Jackson with a Mustang ace. Timeout. Vipers. Lake Buena Vista requests their first timeout of set number 4. Well, you can clearly see why. Coach Martin does not like the way that this set is shaping up. It's hard to blame him, so he's going to talk it over. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi, voice of the Mustangs, here with Keith Dickerson from Wekiva Broadcast Production, along with his videography crew, bringing you the second-to-last home game of the 15th anniversary season. Mustangs narrowly avoid a call for touching the net there. Aviana Hall with the attack. Vipers get under that one. Denia Jackson chases that one all the way to the end line. Wekiva settling for a free ball. No, they're not either.
Backwards into the net there.
Yeah, that's one of those. That's a hard place to be standing. It's almost like looking into the sun if you're playing baseball. Service back to the Vipers. Next in the rotation, number 1, Isabella Covert, serving as libero. That one barely clears the net, goes to Maddie Holmes. What a beautiful save. That was an impossible angle. That ball was in no man's land. You almost never see a ball recovered from there. Most of the time it either goes under the net or straight into it. Service back to the Mustangs and Jenna Japak. Chastity Rosario got it. Yes, she did. Chastity Rosario on the Mustang skill. Had to wait a while to determine whether she cashed in on that one.
Number 1 would have been Superwoman if that had made it back, but too short.
Tell you what, on that Maddie Holmes save a couple of services ago, do you ever play the old DOS game Gorillas where you threw the explosive bananas at each other and you had to put in a velocity and an angle?
No.
Oh, that was a great game from the 80s. The trick was that they would put 2 gorillas on opposite sides of the screen, armed with explosive bananas, and they were standing on top of a cityscape. You had skyscrapers between you, and the object of the game was each time it would prompt you to enter a velocity and to enter an angle, and the object was to get your banana to hit the other gorilla on the opposite side of the screen without crashing into anything else first. And it took a little trial and error, but I thought about that when Maddie hit that impossible line, because that was probably 87 degrees going into that net or up over it.
It's the early, I guess, predecessor to Worms and Lero, if you remember that.
Yes.
Nope. Okay. You need the Amazon science research thing. I don't know if you've seen that on sports lately. They'll put a percentage of what the catch should have been and how low it was.
Emily Harris with a good-looking save there. Tip attempt. Chastity Rosario dives for that one. And not able to save it. Service back to the Mustangs. Cassidy Palmer will serve next. And I don't know how much of we don't have any shotgun mics out here tonight, so I don't know how much of the ambient audio you can hear from the arena, but one thing that you've heard as Cassidy Palmer picks up the ace, you may have noticed that the energy in the room has been a lot higher in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Really, ever since Holmes made that save, you've seen some big plays. Regardless of who wins the service, you've seen some big saves, you've seen some big attacks, and that really just is a shot in the arm for the players who otherwise might be starting to lose energy at this point of the night. Well, too many touches. Wekiva couldn't get it over in 3 that time, so that gives the Vipers an opening. They close to within 4. Again, Wekiva trying to force the tiebreaker. Short serve. Denia Jackson had to dive to get there, and yeah, she gets called for going under the net.
Well, they need another.
Yeah, you can't go fully over the line, and Denia Jackson, who made a beautiful play there, just couldn't stop her momentum, and it was like sliding into home. She made contact with the ball long before she got over the line.
And she's over the net there, it looks like.
Yeah, Maddie Holmes is called into the net there. It was a good-looking attack. It really was. Holmes settles for a free ball. Will it land in bounds? Well, we'll never know. Covert went after that one, and a misfire there from that Lincoln as it hits the aerial. Service back to the Mustangs. Checking into the game to serve for Maddie Holmes, number 10, Juliet Rodriguez. Lincoln, good looking attack. Rodriguez is in the right place at the right time. Solo kill at the net for the Vipers by Kayla Williams. Her 5th kill of the night. Maddie Holmes returns for the Mustangs. Next to serve is Kayla Williams. Service back to Wekiva. Chastity Rosario serves next.
Wekiva definitely needs to try to, as little it might be, hold on to this lead if they want to force a 5th set here.
Serves back to the Vipers. Next in their rotation, number 13, Paisley Hall.
I think Emily and Chastity didn't know who was going to go for it there.
Paisley Hall with an ace. Yeah, that's a real challenge as a server, is to find those spots on the court that don't have great coverage. And she found one right there on the left side of the attack line, right at the 10-foot line there, that nobody could get to. Habiana Hall with the Mustangs kill. Service back to Wekiva. Emily Harris back to the top of the rotation for the Mustangs. And to finish that thought, it's hard enough as an attacker who's at the net to pump the ball into those uncovered spaces. But when you're serving, you know, from 25 feet away from the net. And, you know, just like when you're bowling and you're trying to place that ball perfectly all the way at the other end, it's hard from that far away to laser focus where that serve is going to go. And every once in a while, you get it just right. Denia Jackson punches it too hard. Service back to the Vipers. Next in their rotation, number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. Too much by just a couple of inches. Service to the Mustangs. Next in their rotation, number 5, Denia Jackson. Aviana Hall with the Mustangs kill. Her 5th tonight. So Wekiva right now poised to force a tiebreaker. They'll need to score 8 before the Vipers score 12. And that'll help. Lincoln late on that attack, and it goes into the net. Denia Jackson, serve away. Jackson gets the pass. Here's Maddie Holmes. A lot of heat on that one. In fact, a little bit too much.
Little gift to the Vipers.
Service back to LBV. Next in the rotation to serve as libero, number 1, Isabella Covert. That's a tough serve receive there. Put it right into no man's land. This one goes to J-Pack. Harris had to step over the line to get to that one. So that stops the play right there. That would have been tough for Hall or Holmes to get to that one anyway, so the world will never know whether they could have made that play, but it doesn't matter, as Harris had to put her foot over the line to get to the pass. J-Pack handles the tip. Here comes Hall, who's been brilliant these last set and a half or so. Holmes on that attack.
Going to the crowd.
Yeah, like I said, this is the sport that poses the greatest hazard to spectators. Sydney Highfield on the Viper kill.
Definitely feel the old age creaking in my legs when I see them diving like that every time. Especially towards the stands like that.
Yeah, I mean, they all wear knee pads, but it only does so much. Going to pause here for a lineup check. The other thing I'll say about volleyball, I'm not keeping full stats right now. I'm only keeping offensive stats with the kills and aces. But if I do try to keep full stats, aces, digs, blocks, serve receives, all assists, the whole 9 yards, I will, and especially if I do it for both teams, I will tell you that is far harder than basketball. Like, you would think basketball would be harder because that's the timed sport and it moves faster. But the thing about volleyball is that every action produces 2 stats. Every attack either produces a kill or a dig. Every serve either produces an ace or a serve receive. So every touch of the ball records 1 offensive stat and 1 defensive stat. And it's really hard to stay on top of that. Hall with the attack. That's good if it stands, and it does. Aviana Hall with the kill. Jenna J-Pack serving next. I saw Coach Lorenz about to come out of her chair there. It was an early whistle, and if that was anything other than a clean kill, she was going to come off the bench. And that's tough. Chastity Rosario and Cassidy Palmer stare at each other and watch the ball hit the floor. I don't know who's going to win tonight's game, but when Wekiva plays some of the perennial powerhouses in the district and when they get into the playoffs, you can't give up points that way. Nice work by Harris saving that one. Holmes put that into no man's land.
The net did not count as a hit there. Oh, man.
And another communication error, and you see Jenna J-Pack tapping her chest there saying, yeah, that was me. It ties the set, so Wekiva, I'm trying to remember because I haven't been writing it down. Wekiva has led by, I think, 6 maybe at various points throughout the 4th set. They now have closed it to a tie set. And again, this is a must-win for Wekiva. If the Vipers take this one, then the match is over.
Almost should have let that go, it looked like.
Yeah, Jackson plays pinball there with the rafters. And again, you can continue to play those. It's okay if it touches the scaffolding or any other equipment that's up on the ceiling. as long as it doesn't cross the net. If it comes back down and you touch it again, then it's back in play, as long as you haven't used up your 3 touches.
And J-Pack couldn't get it there.
Tip kill by Paisley Hall, and the Mustangs will request their first timeout of set number 4. It's 21 serving 19 here in the 4th set. We'll be back in just a moment. Again, we want to invite you to join us Thursday for senior night. We have 8 seniors that we'll be honoring just before the varsity game. Make sure you plan to tune in on YouTube or the NFHS Network, or come join us in person here at Mustang Arena Thursday night as Wekiva closes out season 15. Vipers are called over the line. Side out to Wekiva with Cassidy Palmer serving next. Tip attempt. Jackson barely gets under that one. Maddie Holmes with an attack there. Coming over to Jackson, and Jackson can't get to it. Service back to the Vipers. Next up for them, number 9, Sydney Highfield. All right, so Wekiva would need to score 5 before Lake Buena Vista scores 3 in order to keep this match alive. Tough angle for Maddie Holmes. Little help there. Gets it back over. Rosario with a soft touch. We're going to get a whistle. Yeah, that's Kayla Williams. Net violation is called against the Vipers. Checking into the game to serve for Maddie Holmes, number 10, Juliet Rodriguez. So again, this is a great time to get one of your stronger servers in rotation. That is what Juliet Rodriguez specializes in. She's been in and out of the starting lineup as a regular back row player, but she has served in just about every game. Jackson, too hot. Service back to the Vipers. Next in the rotation for Lake Buena Vista will be Kayla Williams, but first, Maddie Holmes returns to the games for the Mustangs.
Yeah, I was curious if they would do, I guess, the equivalent of a no-huddle there again, but...
Emily Harris with the Mustangs kill. Side out to Wekiva. Chastity Rosario up next. Well, Mr. Dickerson, it looks like this one's going to be a photo finish. One way or the other. We're going to have the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. Tip handled by Jackson. Back to Jackson for the attack, but put it a little bit too far toward the aerial, so Jackson does the safe thing. Keeps it in bounds. Palmer has to settle for a free ball here as well. Too much heat by Lincoln. And it's effectively a new ball game at this point. You have to win by 2, it's worth noting. Rosario, short serve, goes to the attack line. Free ball coming over. Harris with the set. Soft touch from Hall. Not really a great use of the free ball. And slapping it into the net. Set point, Wekiva. The Vipers request their second timeout of set number 4. Well, we're going to have a photo finish one way or the other. We'll be back with the exciting conclusion from Mustang Arena in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Well, we know it's going to be a 2-point victory for somebody. The question is who? Wekiva has an opportunity to force a tiebreaker right here. Serve away, and it's soft.
Oh, no.
Service back to the Vipers. You have to win by 2, so we're now playing to at least 26. Next in the rotation is Paisley Hall. Well, Mr. Dickerson, you're probably familiar in football with the phrase icing the kicker. In that case, that timeout served to ice the server. Abby on a hole with the Mustang skill. Second set point for Wekiva. Next to serve, Emily Harris. So now Lake Buena Vista has used both of their timeouts.
Like we're going
Emily Harris with an ace, and we are going to a tiebreaker. Two to 2 is the score, and this one is not going to be solved in 4 sets. We will now need the team captains at half court for another coin toss to determine who serves first in set number 5. Set number 5 has the same rules as the first 4 sets, 2 timeouts for each team, rally scoring in place. The only difference is that the tiebreaker set is played only to 15 instead of to 25. The Mustangs have won the toss and will serve first in the third set. We'll go to a 3-minute intermission, and we'll be back with the tiebreaker in just a moment. Mustangs have the opening service of the tiebreaker set. Emily Harris once again leads their rotation, and Wekiva opens the tiebreaker with an ace. Emily Harris is fourth of the night. Second one has a little more clearance over the net. Lincoln goes short. Harris gets there, but has to send it right back. Free ball coming over. Harris gets under it. J-Pack a little too hot, but it works out.
Patience is a virtue there.
Yeah. That was one that was almost a gift to Lake Buena Vista because J-Pack was trying to set that on Wekiva's side of the net. But it worked out. Tip. Holmes and Harris fight each other for it, and more confusion on the Viper side, and Wekiva's open to a 3-0 lead. Now, normally you say, well, 3-0 is, you don't want to let that get in your head. It's not that big of a lead. But in a tiebreaker, it kind of is.
Wow, what a reach over there.
Ariana Hall comes up with a solo kill. Yeah, she is listed on the roster as 5'8". I think she might have grown a couple inches for that one. Checking into the game for Lake Buena Vista, number 24. It's Annabelle Ruda. Ruda with the attack. Holmes gets under it. Free ball coming back to the Vipers. Hall with an opportunity. Beautiful placement. Aviana Hall with a soft kill for Wekiva. Saw that opening with some daylight on the gym floor. And laser precision to target that. Another nice serve from Harris. Free ball coming back. And in this case, Leticia Dos Santos is called over the line. Returning to the game for LBV, number 12, Cami Parr. Vipers in trouble, have to settle for a free ball. Oh, in no man's land. That was a tough set from Harris. Jackson couldn't quite get the angle right on that. Hard to blame her there. Service 2 of the Vipers for the first time of set number 5, leading their rotation, number 14, Kaylin Lincoln. Still, though, a 6-0 run to start the tiebreaker set. Can't ask for a lot more than that.
Won't be a flawless victory, but I think the coach will take it. Oh.
Mustangs are called for 4 hits. So there, the key difference is if you launch the ball into the net, then the number of touches continues to count upward. If it actually touches somebody's fingers over the net, then you get a fresh set of 3 touches. And so the referee ruled there that it didn't touch any Vipers. It just went straight into the net. And that was why Wekiva got called for 4 touches. Service back to Wekiva. Next in the rotation, number 5, Denia Jackson. Nice serve.
Wow, what a save there in the crowd.
Yeah, Vipers had to work real hard to get that free ball back. Push here to Jackson. Hall. Finds a good spot, but the Vipers are able to recover. Madeline Holmes. Oh, just lost the battle at the net there. Service back to the Vipers, serving as libero, Isabella Covert. Harris to Holmes. That one worked out. That was what she was trying to do the last time. Maddie Holmes on the Mustangs killer, first of this set, her 7th of the night. And we'll pause for a Viper timeout. Lake Buena Vista requests their first timeout of set number 5. We'll be back. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Parchi, the voice of the Mustangs, Sports Information Director here at Wekiva High School, joined by Keith Dickerson, the head of the broadcast production program. And we are joining you for some extra magic hours. Teetering over the net, and Wekiva gave up on it too soon.
Got a balance act going on there.
Service back to the Vipers, courtesy of Leticia Dos Santos, who also has the next serve. So Wekiva is still positioned well in a game that only plays to 15. Little miscommunication there. Wekiva bounces back. And an attack error by Kayla Williams will donate a service to the Mustangs. Next to serve for Wekiva, number 14, Cassidy Palmer. Rosario gets it. Chastity Rosario picks up her 6th kill of the night. And Wekiva is now 5 points away from taking a thriller in the first ever contest between these two teams here at Wekiva.
Another shot out into the wild there.
Should point out that while I've mentioned a couple of times this is the first ever contest between these two teams here at Wekiva, it is not the first ever contest between these two teams at all. They played at Lake Buena Vista earlier in the season. Wekiva lost that set 1-3, or lost that match, I should say. So this gives you a sense of how far Wekiva has come over the course of the season. Maddie Holmes, too hot. Service back to the Vipers. Next in the rotation, number 9, Sydney Highfield. Yeah, Holmes had the right idea there, but didn't take, maybe needed 1 or 2 more steps toward the outside. Service error, give Wekiva a break. Checking into the game to serve for Maddie Holmes, number 10, Juliet Rodriguez. So again, this is a great time to get a strong server in the rotation. 3 points to close it out. Little miscommunication there between Harris and Jackson. They get away with it, though. Rosario sends it over, comes right back to J-Pack. Rosario with another chance, sends it a little farther back that time. Juliet Rodriguez, nice dig. J-Pack settles for a free ball.
And another.
Oh, Rosario is just too late on the touch. Wekiva almost got out of that jam. Service returns to the Vipers. Maddie Holmes is back into the game for Juliet Rodriguez. Next to serve for Lake Buena Vista, number 11, Kayla Williams. Oh, that's going into no man's land, and it works. Serve receive kill brings the ball back for the Mustangs. Next in their rotation, Chastity Rosario. Kaylin Lincoln with the Viper kill. That's her 10th kill of the night. Service back to Lake Buena Vista. Next in the rotation for the Vipers, Paisley Hall. So the challenge here for the Vipers is Wekiva gets there. Attack there, that's from Hall. Service back to the Mustangs. Next in the rotation, Wekiva returns to the top of the order with Emily Harris. Match point, Wekiva. The Vipers would need to score 9 before Wekiva scores 1. Adiana Hall, wide left. Service back to the Vipers. Next in their rotation is Kaylin Lincoln. Again, one of their strongest servers. Of course, because it is rally scoring, you do not have to have the serve to win the match. That was too far on the placement, and Cami Parr with the solo kill. So the Vipers not ready to go quietly into the night. Lincoln with the serve. It's a good one. J-Pack manages to redeem the situation for the Mustangs. That takes us to the end of the match. 15-9 is the final score of the tiebreaker set. And the Mustangs take a 3-2 victory over the Vipers. Ladies and gentlemen, we thank you so much for coming out tonight to Mustang Arena to support your Viper and Mustang athletes. We also thank those of you who tuned in online to YouTube or the NFHS network. The Mustangs have but one home game left, and that is on Thursday against Forest Lake. That is senior night. 8 out of 9 of our varsity players are seniors, and we are going to honor all of them between the JV and varsity contests. So please, even if you are only planning to attend varsity, make sure that you tune in early for that. We hope to see you then. Thanks again for tuning in online. I also want to thank our broadcast production director, Mr. Keith Dickerson. I'll give you another chance to shout out your videographers for tonight's game.
Amina and Tamara here tonight, 2 of my juniors. I'm sorry, 2 of my seniors, not juniors. So thank you guys.
And once again, thanks to all of our friends at Wekiva Athletics and Wekiva Broadcast Production who have made these possible all season as we approach the end of season 15. My name is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva High School. Wishing you a good night and a great middle of your week. We'll be back on Thursday with JV and senior night, followed by the varsity headline events. Until then, this has been a presentation of Wekiva High School Athletics in association with Orange Technical College, both a proud part of Orange County Public Schools. Good night from Mustang Arena.